Good morning, my friends. I trust that you are having a wonderful morning so far, and thanks for joining me on this adventure. It's absolutely such an honor for me for you to invite me into your home at whatever time of day you're choosing to do that. So thank you for that. Our verse this morning is on day 9 of 21 days of 10 to 20 minute, I guess I should say, sketches. And our verse today is Psalm 46:10. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. Those are good words, aren't they? And if you read the rest of the verse, it talks about, desolation and waters that roar and form and mountains trembling and basically it comes down to do not fear, because our God is God. And be still, not do not fear. That's another verse. Be still. You can actually have stillness even though you still have fear. So be still and know that I am God. I need to remember to put Psalm 46:10. It may be shaking around me. I may be shaking, yet be still, for God is help, love, our fortress, a refuge, and he is faithful. So there you go. What I thought that I would do this morning, the idea that came to my head in all of that is a water lily. There are several things I like about a water lily. Of course, they're beautiful because they're made in God's image too, just like us. And I like them because they have these humongous roots, and I don't like them if I have to pull them out of water like we had to do at our cabin. But they are difficult once they get established, but they are gorgeous and beautiful, and if you're not trying to kill them, their root structure is second to none. Let me just tell you that. So I'm going to draw my water lily. I should try and make these a little bit darker for you, shouldn't I? And yes, I do actually have a reference picture over to the side, and I'm not trying to copy it per se, but it's helpful. It is helpful to have something. And the trick though to a reference photo is not getting overwhelmed by how much is in it. And so actually that almost looks more like a leaf, but that's okay. And so to be able to simplify and make it your own is part of a reference picture. And I think I've mentioned sketch before. We do a little bit more of that in there if you're looking for a longer explanation. And I think just a couple more. Those are a lot of petals. You might be better off to not have quite so many petals on your water lily. Let's just make a fat stem, because they do have pretty fat stems. And there's usually a leaf around. And I wish that what we're doing here was a little more conducive to a watercolor look, because I do like that. And it would be really, really pretty to kind of illustrate the water. My lily could have actually been down a little bit further for design purposes, but we're sketching and we're not gonna think about stuff like that. I was gonna use my, sorry, I have my little thing down here. I was gonna use my pencils, my Inktense pencils a lot. But I think I'll fill in with those at the end and maybe make some line work, do some line work with it at the end. This is actually olive, not very dark though, it's a very transparent color. And my favorite's turquoise, and I think I'll put a little, and sky is that other blue, and then this one is cerulean blue. And what okay, I'm gonna try that little watercolor look. So because I want my lily to be white, and I'm just going to put some color around it. So I've taken a really fat brush here, and I'm just putting a bunch of water on it, and then I'm going to put this dark, I'm going to try and get this dark color actually closer in, and even run it into my leaf for some shadow in there. And I'm kind of getting too much of the same color, so I just went and got some more water on my brush. I think I'm going to leave that kind of white part up there, because I often like, I can't see in the glare what color that's turning out to be, my green leaf there. What I start to say, I often like having just some white space in my work. And yes, my pencil went all over the place there, and that's okay. It's kind of back in the shadows. Let's just bring some of that, I'll get some of that turquoise color in there, because that's what's on the background. And so I think, and actually, wait, all right, I started 3 different sentences, didn't I? I'm going to put some green down here on my leaf and on my stem. I'm still using this big fat brush, I'm liking it. I guess there's a, I'm going to bring that up there. And then I'm going to go back to my blues and just put in the shadows in my water lily. I'm going to take another brush and just blend those shadows in a little bit. I'm really not looking at my reference picture at this point. I just want to highlight the leaves that are coming out in front, or the petals that are coming out in front. Way too much water on there. And certainly you don't have to be Miss Blendy Blendy like I am. And these that are coming down in front actually should be a little bit darker, I think. So they look more like they're laying in the water than the ones that are sticking up. All right, so I'm gonna actually take some splashes of water and just create some interest in the background there. Let's just let it roll around a little bit too. You know, I don't know if it's really wet enough to roll around very much. So I'm going to help it. I'm going to help it a little bit. Oh, sorry, I don't want it to go all over my pencils. But so I'm just have my water container here. Let me move that up. I have my water container here. I'm just letting some of that to drip into there. Nice, 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 nice. And then I'll move that back over to the side. And I am going to dry this a little bit. Sorry about the drying. Otherwise my line work will be a mess. Did you see me melt my plastic there? It's a heat gun, super hot. That's not, you don't want to copy that part, okay? Just a hint. And I'm going to take this, you see I put my pencils back in my box, which was a mistake with the dryer, but it does help for me to know which pencils. Like this one is my favorite, and so it's the shortest one. It's Deep Indigo. I tell you to bring your coffee, and then I never sip mine, so I just stole some. And I am just going to put some additional shadow in here with this. This is kind of a magic little pencil. And I'm going to draw some of that down with a little bit of water. Let's try not to get too much in here. And so you just have to really touch that and draw it out. One of the things I'm really trying for in my work is to get some deeper darks in. And I think I'll try just adding a little bit of a lighter blue up here in back of these petals. And I am liking that. The only thing I don't like about this is that I don't have, I always like having a couple of warm colors in it too. And so I'm gonna just add some warmer colors up here on a couple of petals. Still trying to keep them a little white. See how vibrant, though? That's why they're called Inktense, just saying. This one is a little dark, but I think I'll like it later, so I'm gonna leave it. And I think just a little action with some scribbles is kind of fun too. I'd love to put some of those in the background too. If you like things to be purposeful, you might not like that part of it. And once again, I'm going to dry it for just a minute. We're almost done. We'll put in some sketch marks and we'll be done. Oops. No, I kind of like the fact that there's a little bit of chaos. It feels like a little bit of chaos going on in there, so that you really get that feeling of the stillness of the flower. And you could do this with one of your crayons. This is a food ball. You hear my dog in the background. He's quote, washing his face. Not sure if that should be over or under that leaf, but it's under. And I'm gonna just put a little part where the water comes in there, like more like, you know, to give a hint of that watercolor flower. I'm sorry, to give a hint of that leaf there, you know how a water lily leaf is. So, and that is it. We're gonna call that done. Seems like it should have another white petal over there, and I'm just going to suggest that and leave it up to people's imagination. All right. And, where are we at? And I'm going to end it there. Okay. Thanks. God bless and toodles, and be still today. Know that He is God. Toodles.